a bank. Just because if you start carrying passengers, friends, families, whatever, it's a very comfortable bank angle. And then you're not going to get super crazy with it, and you're not going to get to a point that would kind of lead to uncontrollable airplane.
So I'm pulling the power back because I'm trying to get back down to 60. I'm okay with that.
So you're actually, when you're pulling the power back, we're actually going to be descending. So you'd want to pull the stick back to get back to 60, and then adjust your power to maintain altitude. So we're holding altitude fairly well right now, and we're at about 1950 RPM, right?
Yeah.
So if we wanted to descend a little bit, we just pull a little bit of power back until we start to see a descent. Obviously, the more power, the faster we're going to descend. Going up, kind of, you know, we can only get it so much, right? So if we're at full power, we may only get 100, 200 feet per minute.
I don't know if I like you folding your arms or not. I mean, it shows confidence, but it's like you're not there ready to grab it.
Yeah. Well, I do that mainly because I feel like I get in the way if I, and I don't know, it's kind of a flight instructor thing, just to sit there with your arms folded across.
No, it's fine. It's just, you know, I'm over here going, okay, am I doing? I must be doing all right. He's not freaking out.
Yep. You'll know you're doing. You'll know you're doing great when I fold my arms on landings.
I honestly, I'm worried that's going to take me a while to get there.
It's okay. I have another student. We've been flying kind of 3 days a week for 3 weeks now, and he's probably 12 hours, and we're still working on landings with him. So it just takes time. And this airplane, even I kind of struggle landing this airplane just because it's very squirrely. It is very squirrely, and you really have to have a stabilized approach before you can make a nice, good landing in this airplane. It'll land just fine, and you can really just kind of dump it out onto the runway, and it'll be fine. Obviously, you don't want to dump it out onto the runway, but it just takes time.
My biggest fear is the whole going sideways, you know? Or hitting the nose first.
Right. I mean, if you hit the nose first, there should be enough cushion in the nose strut to bounce it up rather than prop strike. Obviously, if you're coming down at a very steep angle, you're going to hit the prop before you hit the nose or the wheel.
Yeah, bigger problems at that point.
Okay, how do you feel with slow flight?
I'm liking it. I'm getting more comfortable with it. Yeah, I just, you know, one of the things, it helps me to just, okay, try this maneuver and sit in it for a little bit, you know? And then just get comfortable with it and then say, okay, now let's go to the next maneuver instead of maneuver.
Okay.
Because I don't get that, I don't feel like I get comfortable with it before we go to the next one.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, sounds good.
I feel comfortable here. I'm maintaining mostly level flight. I'm maintaining mostly 60 knots.
Right.
You know, the RPMs feel good. So I'm a little tense with my feet.
That's all right. If we just kind of remember where the ball was on the ground, and it's just kind of on that right line, that's kind of where our new center is, instead of just trying to put it on the center.
Traffic ready, 26 Victors over the town, Sarasota Springs, northbound.
But it feels comfortable. I want to see what it feels like here in a second as we get more of this bumpity bump. I love being equal with the towers over there. That's really cool. And I feel comfortable being this close to the mountain. Of course, it's not one of those, but still, I feel...
Feels better.
I feel comfortable here, yeah.
That's good. That's what we're working towards, just getting you comfortable.
I hear more engine noise with this one, or more noise coming through my headset. It's not noise canceling, so I hear more than I heard here on the 172.
Yeah, and I mean, that could just be because it's a thinner kind of material, and the carbon composite doesn't really dampen a lot of the sound. It's like the 172, you know, you have a big just chunk of metal out in front.
So what's the rule with the large body? These these size of bodies of water, this lake versus Salt Lake and the whole wearing a flotation device and all of that, where's that, when are you technically flying over water versus not, I guess?
So you're talking like when are you required to wear like a life vest?
Yeah.
I think what the FAA says, and I'd have to double check, is when the airplane is no longer within gliding distance of any body of land.
Okay.
Or piece of land, or however they state it. So if you were in the middle of Utah Lake at 500 feet above the ground, then yeah, you'd probably want to wear a flotation device because your engine fails, where are you going to go, right? Granted, Utah Lake, from what I've heard, is at most deep, like 14 feet deep or something like that.
Okay.
But kind of your discretion as far as lakes this big. Now, if you're going to go fly off the coast of like California or Florida or wherever has the ocean, or even like Lake Michigan, if you're going to fly across Lake Michigan, then yeah, you'd definitely want to have some kind of flotation device. If we were to go crash kind of in the middle of Utah Lake here, there's Provo Airport right on the lake. There's Spanish Fork not super far away, and there's a good amount of people who would probably see the airplane going down, plus ADSB and everything like that, so they could get rescue out to us pretty quick. But yeah, I mean, kind of your discretion at that point. I will double check the rules, see if they do say anything about large lakes, or like what the actual thing is, but I'm pretty sure it's within, or when you can't glide to a piece, or like to land.
I wonder what they're building over there.
I don't know.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, now it's getting fun. Hey, we're doing this.
Yeah, it's just, I think that's just in part because the fuselage is very thin, and then it kind of opens back up out onto the horizontal and vertical stabilizer.
Ooh.
How you feeling?
Just a little jumpy, not bad.
Okay.
Whoa, see what's happening?
It's just a little bit of wind carrying us.
Turned us around.
Okay, repitch for that 60.
Let's see, where are we? Trying to figure out where I'm at. I keep pulling up. Okay. Oh. Don't like that. What am I doing wrong here? I've got all this other movement going on.
Right. So why don't we just go ahead and recover from slow flight? We're starting to get a little bit of turbulence. But I mean, coming around the mountain, we did great. We held our airspeed, we held our altitude. So just to come out of slow flight, just bring power, full power. Kind of hold. Now we're going to use our pitch to kind of maintain that altitude, because as we give it power, the airplane's going to want to come up on us. So we just kind of hold that nose down a little bit, let that airspeed regain, and we can bring our first set of flaps out. Yep. And then once we kind of gain that airspeed back again a little bit more, we can bring flaps all the way out. Sweet. And we're recovered. So then we just go back into cruise. And give me a right-hand turn to kind of follow the ridge here.
Spanish traffic, Katana 220 hotel on the left downwind.
Feel pretty comfortable with that slow flight?
Yeah, I do. Not so much when the turbulence hits, but yes, I do.
Right. That's good. Very good.
Oh, it's wrong way. Still getting used to this trim.
Right.
And the freaking turbulence.
Yep. Unfortunately, as that sun goes down, we're going to start picking up a lot more turbulence. I had a girl almost throw up in the airplane the other night.
Oh.
Yeah, because it was the girl that...
Sorry, we're going too fast.
Yep. Yeah, so just pull that back to about 2,400 RPM. Yeah, the girl I took out on the night scenic, or the night intro, or sunset intro, She got a really weak stomach, and she almost threw up, kind of in that same area that we were just in, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What was her sentiment afterward?
I mean, she still wants to learn how to fly. She was saying, I told her it'd probably be best if we did morning, kind of like morning to midday flights rather than early or late night, just because especially in this kind of time of year where it's not really warm but not really cold during the day, but then as that sun starts going down, it just kind of cools things off and we get a lot of just shifting air.
Turning on a little bit of heat here. Whoa. That's really responsive.
Yep. Yeah, for such a little small control surface, it's very touchy.
Flaps all the way up, yep. Okay. Alright. What else do you want to do?
You want to try some stalls?
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll do, let's give ourselves a little bit more altitude, just because right here we're about 1,500, 2,000 feet off the ground. Let's just give ourselves more altitude. Let's go up to 7,000. And we'll start with a power off stall. So same thing as what we were doing for slow flight. We just want to bring that power back to about 1,500, let that airspeed bleed off. And then once we get below our flap speeds, we'll set flaps. And then once we're kind of stabilized with where we want to be, we'll just bring power to idle, start a slow descent, lose 100, 200 feet of altitude, and then just bring that pitch all the way up. We'll slowly bring it all the way up till we get to the stall. We'll just keep adding that pitch in.
Spanish 1 3, traffic Cooper, 5510, Charlie, runway 30.
And then if you want to give me a left